In part 1 and 2 of Jesus' War Room, we saw two amazing parallel prophecies, given 250 years apart without any knowledge of the other's existence, using a completely different set of images, yet confirming each other in minute detail. And the Word of God says, let the truth be established in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses. And here we have a perfect example of 2 witnesses to the truth. And so because of this confirmation that's taken place with a 250-year gap, we can be totally confident that these 2 prophetic words are bringing us the truth. The first is George Washington's 1777 angelic visitation, and the second is the June 4th, 2020 apocalyptic prophecy. 250 years apart, different images, but yet speaking about exactly the same event that's taking place. So let's look at the prophetic parallels between these 2 prophecies. Number 1, the time of the 3rd great peril, that's in the Washington's 1777 prophecy, and in each case I'll give the Washington prophecy first, followed by the apocalyptic prophecy. The 3rd great peril, the most fearful of the 3 perils shown by the angel, is the exact same time in the opening verse of the apocalyptic prophecy. This is it. Do you not know the time, saith the Lord? Do you not know the day? Do you not know the hour, saith the Lord? This is the time. This is the day. This is the hour, saith the Lord of hosts. So here, this hour being spoken of in the apocalyptic prophecy is declaring the fulfillment of the George Washington prophecy, that this hour is the hour of the 3rd great peril. We are now living in the time of the 3rd great peril. These 2 prophecies coordinate and confirm the time, and so we know that time. Notice also in the apocalyptic prophecy the mention, this is the hour, saith the Lord of hosts. Now, Lord of hosts means Lord of armies. This indicates it's the hour of spiritual warfare now occurring in the heavenlies against the powers of darkness seeking to overthrow Western Christian democracies and ultimately Christianity itself. This is the World War III prophesied in the George Washington prophecy. But it's not a World War III with guns and bombs. It's a World War III with spiritual dimensions. And it's a World War III that is reflected through all the politics and crises and things that we are seeing. And we're seeing them in a highly focused way in 2020 and going into 2021. Okay, number 2, the dark cloud with the red demonic glow is the parallel of the global deep state serpent in the apocalyptic prophecy. And it's carrying its glow of the red dragon, which is the Chinese Communist Party. So here we see the parallel. The dark cloud with the red glow, the global deep state serpent with its red dragon. Number 3, this greatest conflict in which the whole world united is the parallel to the warfare against the global deep state serpent. It's the same war in which the whole world is united. Hence, when we see the global deep state serpent, the word global means worldwide. There's your confirmation again, very accurately. And in number 4, the burst of light as of 1,000 suns is the parallel to the threefold repetition, open eyes, awake, its hour has come, all eyes will see it. So here, you see, this is the 2020 apocalyptic prophecy revealing the meaning of the burst of light as of 1,000 suns in the George Washington prophecy. Okay, the burst of light is the burst of sight. And that precedes the release of angels, number 5. The archangel who bore the nation's flag in one hand and a sword in the other descended from heaven, attended by legions of white spirits who immediately joined the inhabitants of America. And this is the parallel to the twice repeated cry, rise up now, join with the hosts of angels, lift up your sword to the heavens, pray. So here we notice two things. In George Washington's angelic vision, these white spirits who are legions and armies of angels immediately join to the inhabitants. And here we have a prophecy 250 years later saying, join with the hosts of angels. Host means armies. So you can see there is an exact parallel between these two prophecies. Okay, the reality of angels joining with God's prayer warriors on earth is the clear teaching of the New Testament. This is standard New Testament theology. This joining of angels with God's prayer warriors is a standard truth of the New Testament, known from the beginning of the New Testament until now, even though this truth has been largely overlooked in modern Christianity. It was lived out to the full in New Testament Christianity, and it saturates the New Testament. Okay, number 6, the clashing of swords and the shouts and cries of millions in mortal conflict, this is George Washington, is not a literal military war. Clashing of swords. Well, a modern army is not going to be using swords. These millions engaged in this war are not all using swords. So it can't be a modern military army. Furthermore, it says the cries of millions, millions plural, not 1 million, millions. There is no army of 2 or more million in the USA. There is no army of millions. However, there is a population of millions. And so here we see that this war is a war that encompasses the entire population because it's spiritual in nature. It's not limited to some military group or some army. It's a spiritual war raging in the life, heart and mind of every single person in the USA. And furthermore, it extends to people way beyond the USA as well. So, in the apocalyptic prophecy, we read this, and here's a confirmation to this spiritual war, the cries of millions engaging in mortal conflict. The mortal conflict here is the conflict for the salvation of the soul of the nation. It's a conflict for the retaining of Christian truth against the enemy. It's a conflict of all those things that is going on, and it can be seen in the political realm. So here's the apocalyptic prophecy paralleling the cries of millions in mortal conflict and the clashing of swords. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong, Joel 3:10. Arise, gather, blow the trumpet in Zion, sound the alarm in my holy nation. Cry in the streets, Israel awake, arise, Put on your garments of power and strength, for the day is at hand. Rise up, warriors of the Lord. Intercession and spiritual warfare are your weapons. The Spirit of God is your might. The Spirit of God is your strength. Gird yourselves for battle. The battle is the Lord's. The battle has begun. This prophecy is talking about the same battle. Furthermore, it's announcing in real time that this battle has begun, whereas George Washington was prophesying something hundreds of years into the future, 200 odd years into the future. But this prophecy gives the timing as now. Now, the very day in which we live. The battle has begun. Okay. So, number 7. Taking courage again, they closed up their broken ranks. So here in George Washington's prophecy, there is a recovery going on after this mortal attack of the black cloud. And so the parallel here in apocalyptic prophecy is this. The warriors of the Lord have come. The warriors of spiritual warfare have come with weapons. They will arise and pray. They will not be silent. The gates of hell will not prevail against them. Their cries will reach heaven and shake my enemies. Their enemies will fall. Their enemies will fail. The serpent is wounded. The serpent has fallen by my hand. All eyes will see it, all will know it. There's the parallel again. So both prophecies are saying the same thing using different images because they both came from the same source, Jesus' war room.